Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and today I'm bringing you my March favorites. Here I am again trying to catch up on all the sit-down videos that I neglected to film for you in the beginning of the year. I'm sure you saw my February favorites. If you didn't, I will link it in the cards in the description box for you. But now we are moving on to March. I'm gonna have Storygraph up here. I'm going to screen record, Command Shift 5. Okay, so Storygraph is up. Let me change this from February to March. All right, okay, so here is some stats for you. I read 25 books in March. That's actually surprising because I was gone for a week at the beginning of the month because it is my anniversary in March. So typically March is kind of like a slower month for me because I don't really read when I go on vacation. I mean, I bring a lot of books with me on vacation, but I just never read them because you're busy doing other things. And by the time you get home or to the hotel, you're tired and you just go to bed. So 25 books is surprising. 7,242 pages. That's amazing. Ooh, I read a lot of adventurous books this month. That's interesting. Emotional. I always feel like I read emotional books. Mysterious. Okay, so maybe heavy cozies. March Mystery Madness. March Mystery Madness is why. Adventurous and mysterious. Okay, that kind of makes. And then middle grade March. What did I read for middle? Okay, I'm gonna find out. But yeah, so that's part of the reasons why this adventurous is so big. Again, I read a lot of fast-paced books, fast medium. I can't really stand slow-paced books unless I'm really invested in the characters. Again, I read shorter books. We all know this. We all know this. It's not. And then of course, all fiction. I did not rank a single nonfiction book. Here we go. Romance is still pretty high up there. 15 books. Fantasy, wow, 10 books. Middle grade 4, contemporary 4. I feel like contemporary is a part of the romance, honestly. Science fiction 3, erotica. But yeah, okay, children's, this makes sense. Children and middle grade are kind of more because it was middle grade March, like I was saying. Again, this format is really not correct. Okay, so, ooh, star ratings, here we go. 6 5-star reads, 1 4.5, 13 4-star reads, 4 3-star reads, 1 2-star read. What's the 2? There Will Come a Darkness. Oh yeah. We read that for my book club. I did not enjoy it very much at all. It was just very convoluted. There's 5 POVs going right in, and you're just like, there's really not enough time to get to know any of the other characters at all because of all the different POVs. Like, you get to their POV, you read about them, something exciting is going to happen, and then they end the POV and they go to the next person. So it's kind of like, it's kind of annoying. But I was hoping to like this book, but alas, did not. Okay, so let's get into the 5-star reads. Barbarians Bride by Ruby Dixon. This book number 22 in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. This is a massive series, but it's really good. I love it. The books aren't that long, honestly. And Hoopla, if you have Hoopla, like the digital library, they do have a lot of the audiobooks, and the narrators are actually very good if you wanted to like take on this massive series. But just trigger warnings for the first book for rape and sexual assault. If you get the physical book of the new, because Ruby Dixon is releasing new covers for those for the series. I don't know if she's doing the whole series, but she has the first 3. You can pre-order the 3rd one. But if you get that new cover, she has taken out the rape scene that you will see in chapter 1 of the first book. So, but with the audiobook, this was recorded a long time ago. So unfortunately, you will still have the rape scene if you listen to the audiobook. If you want, you can totally skip chapter 1 and just go right to chapter 2. And you will still get everything. Really what you need to know is in chapter 1, they're abducted by aliens. They're terrible conditions. They eventually crash land on this planet, the ice planet, and they get free. So that's basically what you learn in chapter 1, and in chapter 2 just starts right off from the male point of view and goes on from there. So you don't even need to read the first chapter if you don't want to. That has the rape scene. Okay, so Barbarians Bride. Definitely a fated mates trope on here because when you get into the ice planet, it's very harsh living conditions. So you need to have a quee or a cootie, as the girls call it. Basically, it's like a tapeworm that lives in your heart. It's a symbiotic parasite that adjust your body to live on the ice planet. The organism can't live without you, and you can't live without the organism. So the main purpose of the Kui is to find you a mate so you can procreate and further the species. So that's basically, you know, the whole story is like each one of these girls that have been abducted, we find a lot more women. That's how the series is at 22 books now. But anyways, that is basically it. You know, everybody has a cootie, and when you find your mate, it starts humming, and everyone can hear it. And basically they call it resonance, where the cootie just wants you to bang all the time until you get pregnant. If that sounds like a good idea to you or a good time, read it. It's fantastic. It's great. What I really liked about this as well is that there is some BDSM-esque moments in this book, because our female main character, her name is Nora, and this is kind of like one of the flashback series, right? So it's later in the book. A lot of the females, they get paired off very quickly in the first couple of books, and it was really hard for the author to just kind of do every single one of their stories without overlapping plots in times, right? So she does in the later series, what she's doing is she's doing flashbacks. So these characters, they are mated, they have babies, and they're kind of remembering when they first resonated. So that's what's happening in this book. Nora, she is remembering a time when she first resonated to, what's his name? Oh no. What's his name? Dagesh. There it is. Dagesh. It was kind of hard for them at first because Nora likes it a little rough in bed. And Dagesh, like all of the Ice Planet barbarians, they really want to treasure their mate. They want to treat them kind of with kid gloves, and they think of them as fragile because they're human. They're not like the Sakui, which is the alien race, and they want to protect them and coddle them. And Nora doesn't want that. She's like, I'm not fragile. I'm not breakable. You can, you know, bang me really rough and I won't break. I promise. And Dagesh is really having like a hard time with that because he sees it as he's like abusing her. So it's really their story about like communication, and at first she doesn't want to force him to do something that he doesn't want. Like if he doesn't like, you know, spanking her or pulling her hair in bed, she doesn't want to force him in that kind of situation as well. So she kind of like just kind of goes along with the vanilla sex that goes on for quite some time. And it's just that she's happy, just not as happy as she knows she can be if she was able to get that kind of extra little spice in bed. So it's really them communicating and making him understand that she likes it. You know, you are not abusing me kind of thing. And I really like the communication aspect in this book. So I think that's why I gave it 5 stars. And the consent, like the consent is flawless, beautiful. It's wonderful. The way they talk things through, and in the middle of the act too, you know, it's like she kind of asks for something and he tries it. If he doesn't like it, they kind of like back off a little bit. And it's just an open communication, honest and open throughout the entire experience, and it's really sweet and really great. I loved that one. Ooh, Stoneheart by Katie Robert. This is kind of, I don't know if it's a prequel, it just says 0.5. I don't know where in the timeline this takes place in the Dark Olympus series. So Neon Gods is the first one, and then Electric Idol is the second one. I don't know where this story particularly falls in the timeline, but it's really great. It's very short too. It has plus size heroine, which I love. Fat representation, love, love, love it. This is also a trope that I'm very interested in exploring more. It's the I was supposed to unalive you, but I caught feelings. And so I love this. And that's kind of like the second book in the series as well. But yeah, it's like, so what's her name? God, I'm so terrible with names. That's the first to go, honestly. Okay, so we have Medusa and Calypso in this book. Medusa is kind of like Athena's right-hand henchwoman, you know, and she basically, a Medusa is who Athena sends to unalive people, right? And so she has sent Medusa to unalive Calypso, but she goes in there and sees that she is beautiful and cunning and not this meek little princess that everyone thinks she is. It quickly just like, yeah, I was supposed to kill you, but I love you. Yeah, that's basically it, and I loved it. It was fantastic. Short, sweet, sexy, to the point. Yeah, loved it. Loved it. Electric Idol. This honestly tracks because this is also I was supposed to unalive you, but I caught feelings. So Electric Idol by Katie Robert as well. This is Psyche and what the hell? Eros. Okay, Psyche and Eros. And Eros is Aphrodite's son, but also Aphrodite uses Eros as her right-hand henchman. Same thing with Athena. Like all of these gods, quote unquote gods in this series, they want to kill people to keep their power, right? And they use somebody to do it. So Eros is who Aphrodite uses. Aphrodite sends Eros after Psyche. He doesn't want to kill her. He doesn't want to kill anybody, but he feels like to keep his position and have his mother love him, he has to do these things. Otherwise, his mother won't love him, which is very, very sad. Psyche realizes this. Like when Eros comes after her, she's like, I knew this was happening. I did something to piss Aphrodite off. It's not hard to do. But they come to an agreement where like, oh, I know how to save you. I don't actually want to kill you, but I think this will help. If we get married, there's no way that Aphrodite will still make me kill you. Psyche is a very public figure. She's kind of like an influencer, a beauty influencer. And she's also plus sized as well. Fat representation. Beautiful. That is what Eros is banking on. Like if we have this big public wedding, people love you. There's no way that Aphrodite is going to risk that. Right? Right? Wrong. Because they did not realize how cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs Aphrodite really is. Like they're having like this, they're in this diner and just, she comes in and she was like, you really think that you getting married was going to stop my plan? No, you better watch your back kind of thing. I really enjoyed it. Sexy as fuck. It's so good. It's so good. Just read it. Just read the series. It's fantastic. Next 5 stars. Goddess. If you watched my February favorites, the first book in this series was on my 5 stars as well. So it kind of just tracks. This is book number 2 in that series, Norse mythology. I don't want to tell you a whole lot about this book because it really spoils the first book for you. So just know, chosen one trope, YA fantasy about Norse mythology and Vikings. Read it. It's so good. Read it. Next 5-star read, Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. Fantastic. Fantastic. I would give this 10 stars if I could. Again, chosen one trope, middle grade fantasy. My book club, who picked this book, we had a live stream discussion about this, so I'll link it in the cards in the description box for you. Honestly, this is a new Harry Potter. Honestly, like this is fantastic. Fantastic. My next 5-star read is I reread Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue because I want to read the second book in the series. I still haven't read it, even though I read this in March. But this is, I honestly think it's like a horror romance as well because there are aspects of this book that are spooky, scary, 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 scary. Okay, so main characters, Leon and Ray. Leon is this demon who, when we first get into the book, he is kind of like, it's like a contractual against his will. He works for this family to do evil bad things, right? So it says here in the description, I earn my reputation among magicians for one reason. One wrong move and you're dead. Killer, they call me. Killing is what I'm best at. Except her. The one I was supposed to take, the one I should have killed but didn't. The cult that once controlled me wants her and I'm not about to lose my new toy to them. Okay, so this is also, I was supposed to unalive you. I was supposed to unalive you, but I caught feelings. Update. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what the book is about. You know, he is very intrigued by her and he is doing whatever he can to keep her safe. Meanwhile, they are sending monsters and demons and things after her and she lives alone in this cabin in the woods. And there's this one scene where it's nighttime and they hear these things and they're very scary, and it was a very scary scene. I was like, I could just feel my neck just, but very scary. I loved it. So good. The smut is phenomenal. Phenomenal. BDSM. He like pierces her nipples when she's riding a dildo. It's just read it. It's fantastic. So I do want to read the second book in this series. And I think the third book is out too. Holy moly. I'm so behind. I need to read it. But that's the end of the 5-star. Let's get into the 4.5. A Reckless Match by Kate Bateman. I loved this so much. It's about 2 feuding families and they're over generations. They're fighting over their land. The king is finally like, I've had enough. I've had enough. You both share this little split of land that they always fight over. It's like this, it's like a highway just right through their land. It's like, y'all are always fighting over this. Every year, you guys have to come together on this land, shake hands. Otherwise, whoever doesn't show up, they lose that part of land. So they lose land if they don't show up and continue this pact and agreement. Not present time, but then present time because it's a historical. We have our 2 characters what are their names? What are their names? Griff and what's her name? What is her name? Come on. Madeline. Okay, Madeline Montgomery Griff Davies. They're the ones that have to come together and shake hands. They kind of have like this bickering, banter-filled childhood. You know, they're always picking on each other. They're always kind of, you know, snipping at each other. And really it's because they just love each other. And I love it. And it says here, the first freaking line, Madeline Montgomery grew up despising and secretly loving the roguish Griff Davies. Their families have been bitter rivals for hundreds of years, but even if her feelings once crossed the line between love and hate, she's certain Griff never felt the same. So they think unrequited love, right? I should add that, unrequited love. I'm trying to get better at these tags, so when I do recommendation videos, I can do like the tropes or whatever, but anyway, they're easier to find. They're supposed to come and shake hands. That's like the opening scene, you know, is their meeting to do that. But also Madeline she's like an explorer, and they find this secret tunnel, a secret cave on that shared part of their land. So they both are like, she's like, well, I'm going to explore. And he's like, well, I'm not going to let you go alone, because if there's any treasure down there, I'm not going to let you take it for yourself. Right. And so it's just them exploring this part, and kind of some dangerous situations happen. They find that this part of their land, it goes all the way to the sea, and some smugglers have been using a part of the cave system to hide their contraband. Kind of gets dangerous, kind of Indiana Jones type stuff. But yeah, it's really great. I loved it. My book club had a full live stream discussion about it. I will link it in the cards in the description box for you. Yeah, those are all of my March favorites. If you have read any of these books and you liked them, let me know. If you didn't like them, let me know as well. If you like my video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on all the social media platforms. Links will be in the description box below. We'll see you next time, Avery readers.